You got it.
Ready?
Yep.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the Neighborhood Commission meeting to order. This is our Monday, April 28th meeting. It's 6 o'clock, so we need to get started. I'd like to start by reading the rules of speaking. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to raise his or her hand, and when recognized by the chair, to address comments to the chair. Speakers are to keep their comments under 2 minutes. Public testimony will be taken on each agenda item. So at this time, please silence all of your electronic devices. Thank you. We'll start with a roll call. So Billy, can you call the roll, please?
Yes. Bernal.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Logue.
Here.
Melendrez.
Here.
Oshiro.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Tamamoto.
Here.
Verret.
Here.
We have
Thank you.
3 present.
Well, next item on our agenda is public concerns. Are there any public concerns this evening?
Laura Ruby.
Who?
Laura Ruby.
Laura Ruby, you have the floor.
Yes. I'd like to read my statement. This is because it probably will not come before the adjudicatory matters until next time. So I'm just going to read this very quickly. And
What is this about?
pardon me?
What is that again?
I'm just going to read this. I'm going to read it very quickly. It just sets the stage because I need something set for next May's meeting at the Waikiki Neighborhood Board. I hope this might be helpful. Let me just read this, okay? This is an expanded official complaint form I filed March 17, 2025. Chair Finley, that's Waikiki Board, has made no effort to revise his ways of conduct nor instruct other board members to show decorum on several occasions. One involving a male board member who used rude language at me, and another when a female member also made a rude comment as to my having a comment regarding the rules of engagement. But the greatest lack of civil discourse was that the same woman using foul, disparaging words starting with a B at me in an open mic at the beginning of this commission meeting on March 24th. I have never, ever been called this, and this non-civil discourse was not reined in by Chair Finley. It has always been my hope that the neighborhood boards were made up of concerned citizens for the good of our community. It would appear that this board is its own fiefdom headed by Chair Finley for over 2 decades. Will I have my full EIS resolution placed on the April agenda, as I have requested 4 times previously and has been already passed at the Mo'ili'ili, Manoa, Diamond Head, and Makiki neighborhood boards. This is to foster our lay of community neighborhoods. The neighborhood plan rule violated includes, but is not limited to, the Rule 214-118A. This is, I'm asking for just a public announcement of this now because I'm not sure that they have put it on the neighborhood board agenda, although I've asked, as you know, 4 times previously, and it's time it's not been put on in an adequate way. And I am resigned to thinking that it's going to be on in the May one, maybe, if Chair Finley understands this meeting. Thank you.
Next.
Kevin Lai.
Kevin Lai, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. I have 3 quick points to make that are separate from the Executive Secretary's report coming up. First, was the Commission able to review the resubmitted testimony and opinion letter from OYP confirming that the Commission violated Sunshine Law? I know there's an issue with it getting posted late or not for the last meeting. I hope you've each had a chance to review that. Because of that, I'm wondering what quality improvement measures can the Commission recommend to ensure that such episodes do not recur? I think that's in the best interest of the public. Secondly, I'm asking for some information about communication regarding complaints 2024-32 and 2024-33, both of which were submitted in mid-November of 2024, yet were first indicated on the Commission meeting agenda in February of 2025. Only 2024-33 complaint was present on the March meeting agenda. Neither is present on the April meeting agenda. It's not at all clear if the steps of Neighborhood Plan Section 218-101B and onward have been timely followed. How can such processes be verified? And lastly, I'm asking if the Commission would want to opine or advise regarding the degree of fidelity required of a submitted agenda item for inclusion on a meeting agenda or if the board chair, once receiving that request, may make radical edits to the submitted item, such that when it appears on the agenda, it may imply or infer a different topic or idea than the original submitted item. Now, over the weekend, I generated a memorandum of authorities that's been as per Neighborhood Plan 211-104B6 as part of a permitted request for a declaratory ruling by the commission. But submission of this might be precluded if the commissioners tonight can just non-deliberatively comment about such this evening. Again, to recap, the question is, when an item is submitted for inclusion on a meeting agenda, may the chair edit, modify, change the tone of the submitted item, or as the neighbor plan suggests, the item is that which must be presented. Thank you for your time.
Jermaine Myers.
Okay, next up is Jermaine Myers. Ms. Myers, you have the floor.
Aloha, Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, mahalo. Sorry, I'm kind of having some trouble with my internet connection, but thank you, Chair, for this opportunity to speak on public concerns. I want to bring to your attention the Neighborhood Board Plan, Section 2-11-201, General Powers, Duties, and Functions of the Commission. B states that the Commission shall not be responsible for nor control the administrative affairs of day-to-day operations of the Commission office. What I want to highlight is the how much I appreciate the Neighborhood Commission office, and specifically Executive Secretary Lloyd Yonenaka and his team. I think we're all aware that there's 33 boards. On average, there's 9 members per board, but some have more than that. So therefore, the Neighborhood Commission office is managing 33 boards and their monthly meetings and over 300 members. Before the pandemic, the NCO managed monthly meetings of 33 boards at 33 physical locations. I'm a Nanakuli Mighty Neighborhood Board member. I'm not sure if I said my name is Jermaine Myers, but I've been on the board since 2017. And when we used to meet at Kawaihona Charter School, the Neighborhood Commission office had to pay for that. Now we meet at the Nanakuli Library, they have to make sure that they manage the invoices. None of us board members do that. During the pandemic, Lloyd and his team had to now figure out how to do virtual connections, and his staff had to be trained on how to do those virtual connections. And they've been maintaining it ever since. I appreciate that as well. Now they have to make sure we're at a location that's got Wi-Fi. I also appreciate that Lloyd and his team has gotten YouTube up. Now we can get our meetings on YouTube. We can watch them in a day or two of the meetings. These are phenomenal strides that the Neighborhood Commission has done that no other Neighborhood Commission office and its team had to deal with a pandemic and all those things that come with a pandemic.
Okay, can you wrap it up? You're hitting your 2-minute mark. Thank you.
Sure. So I just want to point out all these things, and I'm hoping that the commissioners, and specifically all the commissioners that are currently on this team, that there's an acknowledgement of these strides and these accomplishments. Yet at the same time, I watch some of you and you guys don't even do your committee work on a timely basis. Yet I see over and over that this commission office has done so much. Oh, my time is up? Okay, thank you.
Is there anybody else, Dylan?
Tom Heinrich.
Tom Heinrich, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Aloha, members. Tom Heinrich, just wanted to mention a couple of things. First, and I hope I don't blow this for an executive secretary or other announcements this evening. It came to my attention here at the Capitol earlier this afternoon that Chuck Prentice had passed away recently, and wish to acknowledge especially his many years of service in the neighborhood board system, both as the first chair for the Mililani Neighborhood Board, the first chair period in the neighborhood board system, and as well his decades of service in Kailua. So wanted to acknowledge Chuck Prentice and his passing. Secondly, here at the Capitol and set for final reading on Wednesday are 2 bills that I'll just mention the numbers and the topics. that do relate to or will affect the neighborhood boards. One is Senate Bill 405, which has to do with neighborhood board meetings, and especially allowing more broadly discussion at meetings for things like police reports or whatever, with the point being no action to be taken until a subsequent meeting, but not interfering with the live discussion, if you will, at board meetings. And secondly, Senate Bill 1651 that relates to public meeting packets that will also affect both the commission and the neighborhood boards. So Senate Bill 405 and Senate Bill 1651 coming up. And lastly, I'm trying to find other direct info here, but it was brought to my attention on Friday that the Honolulu City Charter Commission is now underway. And certainly that there are expected to be several proposals that will relate to the neighborhood board system. So the
Thanks,
city.
Tom. Yeah. Can you summarize? You're at your 2-minute mark.
Yeah, no, I appreciate. So just emphasizing, Charter Commission is underway, and that's something else that the Neighborhood Commission and NCO will need to pay attention to as well. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Who's the next person?
Greg Masakian.
Greg Masakian, you have the floor. Public concern, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Aloha, Chair and members of the Commission. I just want to echo what Ms. Ruby said earlier at the beginning of this meeting. It was the end of the Waikiki Neighborhood Board meeting, and we were discussing a resolution that she had requested be on the agenda. It was simply just, you know, making some statements. She had the floor, and there were people talking to her very rudely. There was people hovering around the table where the board members are. The board members were speaking, some of the board members, I won't name them here. And Chair Finley all of a sudden just literally ended the meeting while she was still speaking. So, you know, we've had meetings that have gone a little over the 9 o'clock mark. We now go till 9, and he's allowed other people to continue to speak for a few minutes. At a minimum, I would have expected that he would have allowed Ms. Ruby to just continue her, you know, a few sentences or just let her know, but he basically just gavelled the meeting to adjourn. So these are concerns, and one of the commissioners was there, Commissioner Smith. I didn't even know he was witnessed that. But hopefully we can get to a place where we are serving the public, and the public has the opportunity to speak when they have concerns. That's what we're there for. So I thank you for the opportunity to mention that. Appreciate it.
Good, thank you. Anybody else go ahead? Okay, we have no further public concerns unless the commissioners have one. But I don't see any hands, so we're gonna proceed and move on to our next item, which is the approval of minutes. Everybody had a chance to review the minutes? If you have, then we're ready for a motion.
I so moved. Second.
Please, any discussion? The objections? If not, the minutes are approved as circulated. Thank you. Executive Secretary's report. Lloyd?
Chair.
I had my hand raised up for the minutes. I wanted to give testimony on the minutes.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
We already adopted the minutes, but if you have a comment, go ahead.
Oh, I had it up just before when you guys started it,
Oh,
but
we can't
anyway.
see your hands, and we're queued by by Bill, and
Sure.
so. Sorry about
Sure, I
that. We didn't see
Okay.
your name. Go ahead.
In regards to the minutes, I'd like to have the following included on the minutes. During public concerns, one of the commissioners Commissioner Melendrez had made some statements. So as if he could give public concerns. We were already advised by OIP, Office of Information Practice, that we are not board members. We're not supposed to give community concerns. That is for the community. So I want to make sure that it is noted on the minutes that whatever he said was in violation of Sunshine Law. I think whenever someone violates sunshine law, it should be noted on the minutes for the public to be aware that it was not according to the law. And so I just wanted to add that into the minutes, please. Thank you.
So what you said will be reflected in tonight's minutes. Okay, thank you. Moving on to the Executive Secretary's report.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to report that we did complete our survey and we sent it out to all of the board members and the commission and also some elected officials. And I just wanted to go over it again, that we surveyed 372 current neighborhood board members. Of that amount, 179 people responded. So I can't divide real fast, but that's about half.
About 1/3?
No, about 50%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And we asked them, we asked the board members a number of questions, and I'm hopeful that you guys had a chance to review it. It actually was interesting, and maybe interesting, but also, and it's because I'm in that age bracket, but we had 31% of the people who responded were over 71, so, or over 70. So it's pretty interesting. We do have a larger demographic as far as board members, which we all, I think, understood. But I think anywhere 50, 51 and over, we probably are looking at about 70% of the people that responded. I thought that was not necessarily interesting, but something we kind of knew already. So, there was a few other things that I thought was really good in terms of getting a little bit feedback, and I think one of the things, I know we've heard it a number of times in terms of how long the meetings are, and people wanted to go longer on the meetings, but in terms of the people we surveyed, we asked, do you believe 3 hours is enough time for a neighborhood board meeting? And 90% said yes. We had about 9%, 10% that said no, but 90% said yes, which is good. I think that is a good sign in terms of efficiency, in terms of trying to get to the meeting, get through it, get what needs to be done. So the other thing that if you look at it, you realize that our neighborhood board members tend to be fairly up to speed on the sunshine law or on a neighborhood plan and even Robert's rules. So I think that's a good sign. It almost says we don't need to train, we got enough experts on our board, so I know Larry's pretty much an expert on all 3 areas, so. But I
still screw up.
But I thought that was interesting. One of the things that I thought also was interesting was that while generally the board members felt that they themselves were up to speed on things, I don't know if they had that same level of confidence in other board members, which was interesting. But anyway, other than that, it was good information, and it will cross this with our public survey, which should be done in another month or so, 30 days. We are doing a survey with the general public, and we'll see what those numbers bring. Very similar in terms of the questions we're asking, but what is good for us is that we will be able to use this. I mean, everybody here can use the information, and we certainly will. I know Patrick and I were interested just for the neighborhood plan in terms of what they thought, what we knew was important to our board members. So, anyway, with that, do you have any questions about the survey?
Any questions from the commissioners? Larry?
Yeah, so Lloyd, all 372 board members received that email
Right.
with results of the survey.
Well, we sent it to that many.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the emails that we have on file. So we sent it to them.
Did anybody respond after that with comments about the survey afterwards or what they saw?
I think a few, but not a ton.
I think they're just tired taking the survey. It's pretty long, it's 30 questions or whatever.
Okay, that's all. I just want to make sure everybody got it.
Yeah, everybody got it. And again, there are some that probably didn't, but it's because we didn't have their email. And it may be just a handful, because 372 is really close to what the number of board members we have currently, so. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
If not, you ever had,
Yeah, I got a couple hands. Kevin Lai,
how many do we have?
I see 4 hands right now.
Okay, Mr. Lai, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. A few
Sure.
questions for Executive Secretary. Number one, I'm wondering what is the protocol for proper receipt and processing of submitted testimony? I had the occasion of written testimony submitted to our board for its March 2025 meeting that was somehow formatted and posted as a micro print portrait mode, non-timestamped file that made it very difficult for anyone who actually found the file to even read it. And it was different from other testimony that's been submitted. So I'm just wondering, is there indeed a protocol that staff are using? Secondly, are the hyperlinks in the rich text and plain text email versions of the meeting agenda and written summary documents tested prior to widespread distribution? Today I had some recurrent bad gateway and timeout errors across multiple operating systems, recipient email domains, and web browsers today. But the same URLs appear to work when they're clicked directly from within the archivable PDF versions of these same agenda and written summary documents. Again, just a quality control issue. Just want to see if those are being tested. Third, I received a message from a neighborhood board constituent today that a USPS piece addressed, mailed to the address on my neighborhood board name card was returned as undeliverable. And after some sleuthing, it turns out that it was in fact an error on behalf of the constituent, but it was only because she could not read the micro print on the business card to see it was suite 160 versus suite 150. So I'm wondering if on future iterations of name cards, if they're made by the neighborhood commission office, can we try to use a larger typeface, especially with certain constituencies might have a greater fraction of presbyopic constituents? And related to that, is there any circumstance under which the NCO staff would not ask the U.S. Post Office if a mail piece did arrive to the suite 160 at Kapalama delivered, if it could be redirected to the known address of the neighborhood board member? And as far as the study, last thing, I'm just wondering how or what value can be placed on self-attestation of knowledge about things such as Robert's Rules or anything else. But thank you for the chance to speak. Thank you.
You to respond?
If you want to, go ahead.
Yeah, Kevin, what was the last question? Sorry.
Attestation regarding the
Robert's Rules.
Yeah, Robert's Rules, how I guess their competency there.
You're talking about the survey?
Yeah, only because the comment was made that maybe we don't need to train, but I would just.
No, Kevin, you know I've been testing on that one, man. Come on. Yeah, it's almost like everything in our survey is self-certified. So if you say you are, you are. So, okay. But I just wanted to tell you right off the bat, I mean, I don't know if I can answer everything you asked, but as far as trying to make the fonts larger, we'll look into that. And I agree, it should be as large as possible. My eyesight's not as great as it used to be, so I can appreciate that. As far as testing the links, we usually test it before they go out. Unfortunately, as you know, once you send something, you don't have that much control over how it's received or, how it's transmitted. And we are dependent on whatever program we have or we use to transmit our information. So the only thing I can tell you is that maybe we'll take a look at it, but I'm gonna have to talk to our DIT guys to see. The real question is, can we test that? And I don't know. I'll ask the tech guys and see, but yeah, appreciate your comments on that. Always looking for a way to make sure that it gets there and it gets there in the right condition. Okay.
Next,
Jermaine Myers.
Jermaine, you have the floor. Jermaine Myers, go ahead.
Mahalo, Chair. In regards to the survey, I appreciated it because it really got to tell me that many of the ages of the neighborhood board I thought that I had the highest age. I'm 57. Come to find out people older than me was actually more on the board. So it was interesting to see that there are more engaged seniors, which I totally appreciate. They have a lifetime of experiences that they can bring into the board. I also appreciated that, like Lloyd said, I also agree when 80% or an average of 80% of the people say that they have proficiency, then, you know, we want NCO to be everything for everyone. But the state legislature, the city council, our legislatures, they can't be everything to everyone. There's only 8 hours in a day, a work day. There's 5 days in a week. I wish that everything can be everything for everyone. But I also have to say that my fellow neighborhood board members, we are required to know sunshine law. We are required to know neighborhood board plan. That's what we signed up for. When we take officers' roles, we sign up to do it. Yet I see on many neighborhood board, officers do not follow. But it is for the members of that board is to put each other in check, not come and run to the NCO and the commission and like, can you guys put our board members in check? It takes diplomacy and communication with one another, in my perspective, to resolve many of the issues on our boards.
Okay,
Did you
thank
say
you.
that my time was over?
Yes, yes, so next.
Okay,
Next, Greg.
I just wanted to bring those things out. Thank you for the opportunity.
Greg?
Aloha, thank you. Just a couple quick comments on the survey, actually. So it sounded like it was a 50% response rate. And with that said, you know, it's sad that 50% of the board members didn't respond to it. That's quite a few. I don't know how many emails went out to remind everybody, but I did respond. And the other part of that is, as far as the percentage that are in the know of the Sunshine Law and the neighborhood plan, for those that said they're in the know, are they really? But then we have 50% that we don't know anything about. So my engineering background tells me that statistically that data, it doesn't really tell us much. What you really need to do is get every single board member to apply to the survey. And then lastly, I would like to see a survey with questions where we can actually make comments, make some additional comments, but also provide feedback to the NCO as far as how you're doing and to the commissioner. So the survey, it was great. You know, it's a survey. It's got some age information and some other information, but it's really not relevant to really all of the problems we're facing. So if we're seeing one that's focused on the problems that the boards are facing, and maybe that's the next one in a month, we'll get to a better place. Thank you.
Thank you. Next,
Margaret Murchie.
Margaret Murchie. Margaret, you have the floor.
Yeah, I didn't know that there were 2 surveys. I did one and thought that it had just been resent. I got one, I guess, from the neighborhood commission office. But maybe when I saw the other one, I thought I'd already done it. I did not know that there were 2 surveys, so evidently I didn't do the important one.
To clarify, there was a survey that this data is from that was for all the neighborhood board members. We also have been working to a separate public survey.
That
That
didn't
is-
work.
No, that has gone out, but that's not to neighborhood board members.
It's to the public.
That's to the general public, asking them about neighborhood board stuff.
Could they have mistaken, as a general public person also be
Yeah,
a
they
neighborhood
could.
board person? So
I
they
thought
could
that was the one I filled out. It
Everyone
was
who
kind
got
of fluffy. It wasn't really important. I wish I had filled out the relevant one.
This is
So if they got it, they can fill it out.
huh?
If they got it, they can fill
You're
it out.
talking about the
Both of them, because
no, well,
you
because
can't tell.
no, you can't. The other public one that is just about has a control where they ask you, are you a neighborhood board member?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. And it's on.
Yeah, we haven't
So
seen
it's
it.
also
Yeah.
on, yeah, Chair, it's also on social media that they put out on Instagram, especially Instagram, because it's been coming up on my feed, that take the survey, the public's
So if
it
you
is
could send to
indicated.
the commission for CC, I think that would be helpful. At least we know it went out. I mean, we won't respond to it, but for information, I had no clue to send it on. I know it was coming, but no idea. So if anybody asked, we would have known. Thank you. Anybody else?
Last one I see right now, Claire Santos.
Claire Santos, you have the floor. Questions on
Aloha.
executive secretary report, please?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Mr. Yonanaka, for this review of the data you received. It's soft data, but at least it gives you an idea of where people think they're at. As a person who, you know, a little over a year ago joined a neighborhood board, I received zero onboarding, nothing about neighborhood plan or Robert's rules or where the Google Drive is, nothing. So I did what any logical person would do. I figured out in a hurry to ask Tom Heinrich. And thank you, Tom Heinrich, for putting me wise to all the things I needed to know. And I had to get a copy of Robert's rules and such. So I would love down the road in all of your duties to see a regular onboarding process for new board members so that they can stand up as equal members and know how to conduct themselves and what certain processes are that I'm still learning. And just because we talked about fonts, you know, the fonts on those business cards are way too tiny. So could you please make them bigger? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Another one popped up, Michelle Matson.
Michelle Matson? Michelle,
Yes,
you have the
thank
floor.
you. Thank you, Chair. I too have a concern about this survey process. I know that the survey committee chaired by Steve Melendres has been working very hard on a very astute survey that has not been permitted out of the commission yet. And in the meantime, the NCO secretary, who is supposed to be serving both the commission and the neighborhood boards, not the other way around, has sent out his own survey of, as Margaret said, a fluffy survey, confusing the public, who thinks that this is the official commission survey. This is outrageous. We need the commission to be in charge here, and that we need the respected survey committee to be able to exercise its intelligence and its research, to be able to provide the public and the neighborhood board members and the neighborhood board chairs with a responsible survey, not a piece of fluff. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna move on. That's all we had in terms of questions for the executive secretary. So the next item on our agenda is new business. And we have the Makiki Punchbowl Canvas Neighborhood Board that requested that the commission take a look at their membership. And you have someone from the Makiki Neighborhood Board to present their case tonight?
I talked to the folks over there, but I wasn't prepared to.
But we asked them to attend the meeting tonight, again, in HR or Ian Ross, who made the connection last.
We have a letter from the chair.
I'm sorry?
There was just a letter from the chair asking for it.
Right. Were they coming tonight?
I'm not
we don't know.
sure.
No, I guess they're not here, so everybody had a chance to review their letter dated April 13th. So what's the pleasure of the commission?
Well, I think
If you want to take action on
there's
this?
a couple public testimonies.
What's that?
There's a couple hands raised about this topic.
Are they on that board?
Are they on the board?
One
This
is
goes to.
Is Tom?
And Tom's hands up too.
Tom and a board member.
Tom, and
Yeah, Tom and a board member.
who's the board member?
Claire Santos.
Claire?
Did she not? She resigned. She resigned.
Hi, please don't
Is he
speak
still
on my
on the board?
behalf. Please don't speak on my behalf, whoever that was.
I'm sorry, you all.
I am currently on neighborhood board number 10. However, I just wanted to verify I did submit last Thursday a letter of opposition to this request. So I want to be sure that you folks have it.
I haven't seen it, but go ahead. You have the floor, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, so I submitted it last Thursday so that you folks would have it in time to review before the meeting. I don't know that I can read it in 2 minutes, but apparently we haven't had quorum since October. I just fell out. And they're looking, well, it's supposed to be Chair Char, but Ian Ross has got his hands in there, and we're not achieving quorum. So October, November, December, January, February, March. We finally achieved quorum in April with only 2 meetings left. I really don't know why they're appealing to the board to cut down the number of members from 17 to 13. Just start calling board members and ask them to show up for the next 2 meetings. I think that the board should be proactive and be, reaching out to their own board members for participation. I think they also wanted to do an at-large component, which I adamantly am opposed to, because with 3 different sub-districts that have completely different problems and issues, if you do an at-large component, you water down sub-districts, and they can be almost deleted because there's no one representing them. So I would venture that we should stay with our sub-districts. And I did in this letter also ask, can we please reunite Punch Bowl? Just use the historic preservation guidelines to put Punch Bowl all back together and put us with Nu'uanu. And so that's the quickest summary of my letter, and I hope you'll certainly read the whole thing before making any decisions, because it's an important issue, and I think this should just be sent back to the board to deal with it themselves, for the leadership to start calling members and get us engaged. There's a problem with engagement if we're having this issue.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Next, Tom Heinrich. Okay, Tom Heinrich. Tom, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. First, I would note that Ken Peck is also a member of the Makiki Neighborhood Board. I know he's listening in here on Zoom. Secondly, I just wish to state my strong support for this request, this motion, as I brought it up as well at the last Neighborhood Commission meeting. The frustration, of course, is that if the Neighborhood Commission acts positively this evening, this is only good for 2 months, but it will help at least get to June 30 for the Makiki Neighborhood Board. Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Do you have anybody else?
I got 2 more.
Who's next?
Jermaine Myers.
And
Kevin.
okay, Jermaine Myers, you have the floor. Jermaine, this is on the Makiki Neighborhood Board.
Thank you, Chair. This is regarding the Makiki Lower Punch Bowl Pantless Neighborhood Board number 10. When I saw this on the agenda, I was questioning, our board has nine members. I'm always surprised when I see other boards have a lot more members. Is there any way that the NCO can clarify on the neighborhood board plan why it's not by population like the Senate districts? I know that it was created a long time ago, the neighborhood board system, but it's kind of surprising when I see 17 members versus mine's have 9. Also, as far as with engagement, it really is about the community members within that neighborhood. Nobody can force anybody to join the neighborhood board. And then the next thing about it is, the members that are dedicated to coming to the meetings to make quorum, they cannot be penalized. So I appreciate that you're trying to reduce it in order to at least get quorum and action can be taken for the last 2 months. What I'd like to, I hope that at some point this neighborhood commission can actually see that at large would be the best thing for each of the communities, because there's the other obstacle. We have 9 members and we're all at large in the Nanakuli Maile Neighborhood Board. But yet sometimes when we have vacant seats, like one time we had 2 vacant seats, because we were deadlocked in voting, we couldn't get another board member on because the board members itself got deadlocked, and then therefore we didn't have quorum vote in order to bring in a new member. So that's another obstacle that happens. So I'm hoping that the neighborhood board plan committee can take this into consideration. The elections committee can take this into consideration. The last advice that I'd like to make is that maybe on the minutes, add the board members' names and each month in a spreadsheet, like at the top of the minutes, so that everybody can keep track. When you're absent, it shows that you're absent. When you're present, it shows that you're present. That way, the board members itself who raise their hand and volunteer to be on the ballot or to be on the board, that they would actually see that the community sees that they're not showing up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Kevin Lai, Kevin, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Just briefly, I was monitoring the audio channel a minute or two ago and heard something that I hope I didn't actually hear. It was that the testimony, for example, that had been submitted by Ms. Santos had not been reviewed prior to the meeting today. It looks like her letter was submitted and posted on the 25th of April. I would hope that the commissioners each make due diligence to try to screen the information that's provided for them prior to making decisions and deliberating on matters that are on the agenda. I wonder if the commissioners are willing to raise a hand to say if they did or did not have a chance to read Ms. Santos's testimony this evening. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
Nobody else.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the commission has a letter from the Waikiki Neighborhood Board. You've heard comments from various folks for making this change and those that feel otherwise. So what's the pleasure of the commission? Larry?
Yeah, Chair, I'm so sorry, we have a late hand raised from a board member.
We'll get to that. I called Larry first.
Okay.
Larry, go ahead.
I just want to mention that I can understand what Makiki's issues are, and they have so many failures of every meeting and can't get board business done. We've got to help them. And we already know, I can tell you from Pearl City Neighborhood Board, my experience, we went through the same scenario and we reduced the number from 13 to 11. That was the magic number. For the last 2.5 years, we have made quorum every single meeting. And plus, being at large gives you the flexibility. When you have specific districts, it's hard to recruit to get right people. And I beg to differ that one problem from one part of the district is not the same for the other. When it comes to traffic and transportation, we all go through the same intersection. We got cars parked in house. It's all the same in how we handle it. Let's set them up for success, and I most strongly recommend we approve this.
Okay,
And it came from the chair.
and who's the other one that had a comment on this?
Ken Peck.
Who?
Ken Peck.
Okay, Ken Peck. You have the floor.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity. I just want to echo Jermaine.
You're from the board?
Yes, I'm a board member of Makiki. Before that, I was a board member of the Mo'iliili area, and that we have at large over there. And I think it's quite common for all boards to have member retention issues. And how we circumvented this was to have at large members. So, you know, I want to echo Tom, Jermaine, and Larry, the last speaker. It's not the best solution, but it's the solution that works, and it keeps more engagement, and we can have quorum who can actually do things. We can do our resolutions, the main crux of what we have the ability to do. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. So getting back to the discussion amongst the commission in terms of what we do with the Makiki board's request. We heard from Larry, he's supporting it. Anybody else want to chime in on this? Lloyd?
Yeah, sorry, Chair, I just would like to bring some information.
Sure, go ahead.
To the discussion. The two times that the board could not meet was in February of this year and March of this year, where they didn't have quorum. We only had 8 and he did not. Every other time since July 24, they have been able to meet quorum. Part of the challenge was not everybody shows up at the beginning of the meeting. So they don't have quorum going in and then they trickle in and they get quorum. So that's one part of it. Two, April's meeting, they had 10, so they had quorum. And maybe the last thing is we do recognize, and we've used this before where we reduced the number of board members and changed it to at large to help them meet quorum. normally, or in the past, it has been for boards that have consistently not met, been able to meet. So, we know right now that this is April, they've already met for April, so it's May and June is the next two meetings. And then after that, there's election, so we'll have an entirely new board, and we don't know what it will be at, in terms of at that point. One of the options, I'm not saying you should do this, but one of the options is not worry about it for 2 months. Because they made the quorum this month. So at the same time, it would certainly, obviously, make it easier for them to meet if the quorum was reduced. You know, I mean, I'm not saying either way is right, but just to understand that, the only time they didn't meet quorum was the last 2 meetings, February and March. So, I mean, it is a difficult decision, I realize, but you can look at it from 2 perspectives.
Patrick, you had your hand, go ahead.
Yes, without respect to Lloyd, I do agree with Larry. I think we need to help the board, and yeah, it's 2 meetings. So what's the damage? I think it helps them, and it's needed. Thank you.
James?
Yeah, I was just curious. So they want to lower the number, but it's only been 2 meetings. Is it the same people who aren't showing up at these meetings? Because
We don't know. You know, one comment I've made in terms of what I've seen neighborhood boards in the past, I've seen neighborhood boards that have sub-districts, and I've seen them work very well. I've seen neighborhood boards that are at large, and they've worked. But anytime a board asks for changes, whether it's boundaries or the numbers, and whether it's by sub-district or at large, it's always been driven by the boards themselves. They're the ones that come and say, fix this, help us with, you know, changing so we can meet quorum, whether it's the boundaries or whether it's the numbers. So again, this is something coming from the board. And obviously, you're not gonna have 100% agreement on these things, but in this particular case, it's 2 months, so it reverts back to sub-districts because that's what the elections are based on. So, you know, they'll go back and hopefully they'll get enough people to meet quorum going forward after the election.
And Chair, one more important point.
Go ahead.
It's the chair asking for help.
Right.
And we need to help the chair.
When does the elections close?
April.
Election close,
That's our election chair.
16th.
I have it right here.
Go ahead.
May 16th.
If we make a change now, are we gonna disenfranchise people that are running for election?
No.
No,
This
won't
is
affect them.
for May and June elections,
The
so they
nominations
don't
have already-
come in till July, the new members,
Yeah.
right?
Can I throw a little monkey wrench into it?
Go ahead.
Neighborhood Plan 214-104, membership vacancy. If one or more vacancies on the board or the failure of a board to achieve quorum in successive meetings interferes with the ability of the board to conduct its business in 3 successive meetings, the commission may take action to fill any vacancy. Okay, so you can actually appoint if you want, you know, put somebody there. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
Claire?
Yeah, I think I agree with our fellow commissioners in the sense that, you know, this letter came from the neighborhood, the chair of the Makiki Lower Punch Bowl Tanders neighborhood. They've outlined how they want to solve this or attempt to solve it by reducing the sub-districts from 3 to 1 at-large seat and then to reduce the board seats from 17 to 13. You know, let them try. We want to give them the autonomy to do their own solutions. Let them try and see if this works. Maybe this will set them the pace for, you know, whether they're gonna go forward in the next, not this election, because that's the election, the nominations have closed already and people are voting. But the next time it goes around, they can craft whether this is something that works for them or not. Yeah, but this is their solution, so.
May
I comment?
So I read all of this and I considered what Larry suggested, and I also considered what you suggested, both train of thoughts. And I thought, well, the best way that maybe they would need help is to give them that final push to close out this 2-year term. Because it does state that it's temporary, they're asking for something temporary. So I stand in agreement with Patrick and Claire and Larry for the final push for this.
Do we have a motion?
Call for the question.
Go ahead. No, we don't have,
Oh, we
need a
have a
motion.
motion.
Oh, I move that we accept the proposal. I don't know if the date is correct, July 1st. Is that gonna work, that if we make those corrections, or does it have to be June 30th? Because doesn't the new term start on July 1st?
Yeah,
So it's, I move that we accept the proposal of these 2 points and we make it effective until June 30th. Or maybe effective until July 1st, but it would be the end.
The end.
Can you state the 2 points in your motion?
Yeah, let me put my glasses on, larger font. So, the motion would entail temporarily merging the 3 sub-districts into one at-large district and temporarily reducing the number of board seats from 17 to 13.
For the remainder of the term? Okay.
June 30th, 2020.
And effective until the end of this term.
Yeah, the end of this.
I'll second that.
I'll move this second. Any further
Yeah,
discussion?
James did.
If not, are you ready for the vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? If not, motion carried. Thank you very much. Can we communicate that to Keith? Let him know? Thank you. Okay, committee reports. Start with the elections committee.
Yes, I got a couple of concerns and I have to verify, I didn't have time, my day was kind of crazy today. Are we not being able to, elections, people being able to vote? Because some people are saying they aren't able to vote.
Yeah, the code.
Clara just got it answered today, because since we only had 11 members on our board, only 11 candidates,
Oh, you didn't
we're
have to
not
vote.
wasting time
Okay.
with everybody,
Okay.
even though I wanted to find out how many votes I got.
You're ready.
you got enough.
I did, it measures effectiveness.
But hasn't that been the policy the whole time?
Right.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of different factors that make it confusing for people. So
It's not
some
contested,
people
there's no-
get it, like, it could be a board with 3 sub-districts and only 1 sub-district gets it because that's the
Right.
only one contested. It could be an at-large board where that's not contested at all. So many different calculations on why someone might get a ballot and why they wouldn't.
Okay, so just to reiterate that, for the elections are now ongoing and they will be open till 11:59 PM until May 16th, 2025. If you are in a district or a board, like if your board is all at large or you're in an uncontested district, office or position, you will not get a ballot to be voted on, or you won't have access to the election. And if anybody has any problems with voting, I suggest you call the neighborhood board commission office.
What's your phone number, Claire?
If you're there.
We're there.
Because they're the best help. Yeah, so you have to May 16, 2025 to vote. So encourage everybody to vote.
Thank you.
No question.
Dylan?
Yeah, Jermaine Myers online for a question.
Jermaine Myers, you have a question?
Yes, Commissioners, thank you. Thank you. I wanted to acknowledge that this election process has been amazing. Thank you to the election committee. Posting our candidate profiles, etc., was very easy. And I got my ballot last week, Wednesday. My mom got hers on Friday because she doesn't check her mail every day. But I want you to know that I just had one question. I saw that it was different on the profiles on the actual a sheet that came in the mail. So in the past, it was in alphabetical order, listed everybody's profile. But I notice now that it's random. It's like not in alphabetical order on the sheet that's listing all the candidates. Was that specifically done by the elections committee for a specific reason? To not give anyone an advantage on as far as from their last name or their first name being in alphabetical order, they're being top of the list of the candidates?
Jermaine, I'm sorry, I this time I can't answer that question, but if you let me research it further, we can, well, they're a little confused about it too. I'm looking at them. We have to look, let us research this and find out. I don't think it was done in any particular order or for reason, but let's find out before I can give you a good answer.
Okay, I'll scan it and then I'll go email it to you, but I'm okay with it, that it's in random order. Everybody that used to run for OHA used to complain that all the people with A got elected. I said, then how did John Waihee, who was at the bottom, got elected? His last name is
Okay, thank you
Waihee.
very much. Yes.
And so I just wanted to say that I appreciate it, that it was random, but I just wanted to know if that was part of the process. Mahalo.
Kevin Lai. Kevin Lai.
Thank you, Chair. To follow up on the previous commenter, I'm looking at the candidate list for my board, and it appears that they are listed in the order in which the profiles were submitted to the website. I'm not sure if that's it or not. But the reason I wanted to comment was, what if on the ballot there is at least one candidate wherein the last name is not printed on the ballot? Is that something that will be of concern or make a ballot subject to recall or review or redo? Thank you.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you have a particular incident, Kevin, that you're referring to?
Neighborhood Board 13, candidate number 4 does not appear to list a last name.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Kevin, we'll look into it, but it also, I think when you fill out your candidate stuff, your candidate information, I think they ask you a question of what name you want to be listed on the ballot. And I think we have had in the past people putting one name, so, you know.
Fair, yeah, that could be it. Thank you so much.
Anybody else? Dylan, anybody else?
Sorry, sir, 1 second. Robert Armstrong.
Robert Armstrong, you have a question on elections?
Thank you, Chair. It's not a question, it's a comment. I would also like to echo Kevin Lai's comment, being a member of the neighborhood board in Chinatown downtown, that there is an issue here where somebody doesn't list their own last name. You know, it's as young people would say, it's pretty sketchy, but it's also, I think, a very good question as to the validity of this person's candidacy and any votes they may receive. Because if you're hiding, you're probably not appropriate for the neighborhood board in the first place. And I can't imagine why somebody would do this intentionally. So I just wanted to echo this, and I think this is a very serious issue. I'm so glad Kevin brought it up because, frankly, I forgot. And I think it needs to be adjudicated in some way, shape, or form by the office by the time the 16th rolls around, so that, you know, either the vote for her is valid or it's not. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. We'll look into it.
Kevin raised his hand again.
Kevin, you have another point you want to make?
Oh, Chair, I guess to echo very briefly, I don't want this to go to the point of no return. Does the commission know if this needs to be an active request per neighborhood plan 211 whatnot to request a formal decision on this, or is this something that the commission and the committee will undertake and provide information to the boards about it in a timely fashion? That's the question I wanted to clarify to make sure we don't miss a window of opportunity to actually address this. Thank you.
Well, I think we should get a response from the commission when they get into it to find out what happened.
Yeah,
and
we'll
let us
look at
know,
it.
and we'll
Yeah.
determine
Yeah.
what steps we may want to take. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next report, survey committee, Stephen.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I do have a written report. And I did email it out earlier.
You could talk louder to the.
We have, I'm going to present it. The survey committee is presenting it to the commission.
We got this.
Okay, I'm gonna, anybody to send this around for Patrick, the planning committee. Or pass it around. Pass it around. Pass it down. Pass it down.
Oh,
The neighborhood commission I'm going to just share a bit from the cover memo. The purpose of the memo is to provide feedback from the commission survey of the Neighborhood Board Planning Committee to consider making appropriate changes to the neighborhood plan per the requirements addressed by the neighborhood board chairs and board members. Then talks about who we are, etc. The neighborhood commission directed the survey committee to conduct a survey of all the board members as a result of concerns raised by the commission due to issues at the previous conference of chairs in July 2024. And so the survey committee emailed out to all the board members a call for questions. The neighborhood board chairs to ask all the board members what they'd like to see on the survey. The result of that is that we did get a number of responses back, a lot of responses back. From that, we boiled that down into 5 discrete. Can you share this, Dylan, on screen?
Oh, you're hitting me with this last minute.
You got it like last week, 2 weeks ago?
Stephen, we have the written, go ahead, you have the written.
Okay, I'm seeing the people, there's questions on people's faces. Usually when I present, we share online. Share screen. Just so that you don't drop anything through the cracks.
We did. We talked
Yeah.
about it at a previous meeting, so. Questions,
If you can't find it, Dylan, that's okay, I'll just proceed.
Okay, keep going and I'm looking.
Okay, so therefore, the committee survey committee identified 5 areas. I'll just read through a couple, highlight. Commission, the policies, procedures, process of commission and neighborhood boards are established by the commission. City and County Honolulu, the NCO office, the policies, procedures, this is the processes for Honolulu County employees in the NCO office are established by the Office of Managing Director, which is managed by the Executive Secretary. The next items as far as meeting length, the minutes, emphasize to refer in the minutes, is that yes, the neighborhood assistants do take the minutes, but it is there you go, thank you very much. Go ahead and let's go down to page 2, Dylan. Right there, okay. So as you can see, we addressed the meeting length, and that there are 3 hours. There's been a number of issues about that, complaints, etc. But it is 3 hours from beginning to end, after, not including setup and breakdown, etc. Let's go down to minutes. You can all this information is available, I believe, our Google Drive. Yep. So it's available for anybody online to go in to review that. We're sure that the NCO just send this out to all the board members. The number of pages is 4. This explains the procedure for the minutes. One thing that's important is that the neighborhood assistants do provide the service to the boards to take the minutes, the written minutes. But there was a change with OIP. The video recording verbatim serves as the official record of the meetings. The written meeting minutes serve as the written summary of the actions taken, who spoke, and then what was the vote, etc., the outcomes. One thing that's important on here is that each board itself, in and of itself, and I've been on the board for 10 years. I'm chairman of the Municipal Neighborhood Board for Mililani Mauka. And the boards do own the minutes. So once they're generated by the neighborhood assistants, it goes to the secretary and the chair for that board to make any final changes, additions, whatever. And then they present that at the next board meeting for acceptance by the members. Item 4, the Neighborhood Commission Office, responsibilities and roles. Item 5, training for the neighborhood boards. So we are addressing training for the neighborhood boards, commission office. These are all clarification items that you see up there in item 4 and 5. And we're presenting at the neighborhood, the survey committee is providing this from the neighborhood board chairs and the members through the commission to the planning committee for consideration of including these in the neighborhood plan. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? No, thanks, for your report.
So do you want to vote out of that, Chair?
I'm sorry?
Do you want to vote or you just want to pass it?
Well, I don't think there's a need for a vote. I mean,
Okay.
your letter, your memo is going to Patrick as chair of the neighborhood plan committee, so, they can review that. decide if they, incorporate any items in the plan.
Thank you.
Taken from the survey.
Thank you. And I appreciate all the neighborhood board members and chairs that did respond. You're just sterling. You're the salt of the earth as being the conduit of communication between the government and the people and the people and the government. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Larry, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, just to make sure that all the neighborhood board members got a chance to see this. Granted, they can go to Google Drive and see it. The chances are most of them won't. So I'm recommending that if you all could forward this out in a blast, email blast, like you did with your survey results.
Thank you. Good idea.
Okay.
I just have one more comment about it. When we identified these 5 different areas, not only we wanted to give some feedback to the neighborhood plan committee, but we also wanted to give some feedback for the commission, for the commission office, if they wanted to use it for training, what certain areas might be of interest. So,
Yeah, and we voted on that 2 meetings ago.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. Very good.
thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Lloyd?
If I may, a question. Anybody else?
Yeah, but if you want to go first.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
We
I'll let
have-
the public.
We have 2 people online. Online. Margaret Murchie.
Margaret Murchie, you have the floor.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. I did talk to Lloyd about this once, sitting in on a board meeting or a neighborhood board meeting in Waikiki. And there was an incorrect vote recorded, and they said, oh, don't worry about it, we'll just amend the next mail out or whatever. And when I talked to Lloyd about it, I said, it's completely wrong. And he said, whatever the chair sends out or approves is it. So it doesn't matter if it's correct or not. And that makes me, it's very worrisome, and I don't know whether it's still going on. I haven't gone to one of their board meetings for a while. That's not right. So if he decides to change it at the last minute, to suit himself or whomever, it's not a good thing. This does not happen in our neighborhood board meeting. I mean, the minutes are fought over, actually, to make sure that they're absolutely 100% correct. But how can you trust that? And Lloyd said, whatever he submits is what it is.
Okay, thank you. Jermaine Myers, you have the floor next.
Aloha, Chair. Thank you for this time to speak about the survey committee. I'm sort of confused because I'm looking at the February 20th, 2025 survey committee meeting minutes. And it says here that the purpose of this meeting, Committee Chair Melendrez announced that the purpose of this meeting is for the committee to conduct a final review of the testimony received and make recommendations to the draft survey for it to be presented to the full neighborhood commission. Was the draft ever given to the full commission for review and approval for the survey? Because when I understand the way that the commission works, which is you're the ones to do the neighborhood plan, update it, the elections, etc. But the NCO office manages the administrative side, which is relationships with our boards. So I was totally fine with getting an NCO office survey because that was what was related to the serving of the NAs, etc. And us as board members, if we know the Sunshine Law, etc. Because we're the ones who are always putting the NA on the block. Hey, what's the Sunshine Law say about this? Or what does the neighborhood board plan say about this? Or Robert's rules? But what about the survey? Is the survey going to come out from the actual commission? Because I've been watching, you guys have committee meetings, but I don't ever see a draft from the survey committee coming out. One of the things I hope that comes out of it is to highlight the effectiveness of the neighborhood boards. My neighborhood board has been effective on many fronts. Was able to have a new lifeguard stand at one of our beaches. I noticed that the Red Hill thing, all of us coming together as neighborhood boards, we were able to address it with the Navy representatives that are.
Go ahead, hit your
But
2 minutes.
I just wanted to highlight that the Waikiki Neighborhood Board was able to stop having parades. I just saw it in the news that the mayor has agreed to have minimum parades. So I'm hoping that the effectiveness of the neighborhood board system can also be on the survey and not be so negative and not be so isolated. So, Kia kopu, thank you.
Thank you.
Greg Mistaken raises it.
Greg Mistaken, you have the floor. This is on the survey.
Yeah, just very quickly. Yeah, there's still a problem at the Waikiki Neighborhood Board with improper votes that are recorded. So that happened with Bill 50, actually, where the board didn't appropriately or properly vote, and that was carried through to the minutes. I don't know if it's been corrected yet. We discussed it at the last meeting, so we did finally approve some of the minutes that have been drifting around for a few months, but there's still issues there, and it's just part of the process. I think everybody's aware of it. I just wanted to, again, echo some of the other statements that are made because it's important that everybody is aware of that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can we move on to the next video? Okay, Patrick, you have the floor. Neighborhood Plan Committee, thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't know if Lloyd.
I'm fine.
Okay, so the neighborhood committee neighborhood plan committee is meeting, and we're currently going through the disciplinary procedures, just that part of it. At the last meeting, we reviewed a proposal, and we're still going through it. I'm going to take some of the feedback from the last committee, kind of narrow down the proposal a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. Anybody that's interested, please, you can email me or you can attend our meetings and submit testimony. Thank you.
They can fill out the form.
Yeah, there's a forum for testimony. Any comments, questions, concerns, let me know and I'll raise them at our committee meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Patrick? Moving on for the commission or online, we're gonna move on to the next item, announcements. The next meeting of the neighborhood commission, we have to take a determination tonight. So I take it that the next meeting is on Memorial Day, which is the 26th, correct?
Yes.
Correct. So, do you have a suggestion as to which day we try to meet again? The week before?
July 28th.
Huh?
Hey. Oh, you're talking about taking a 2 week break?
You want to do it on the 27th or the week before?
The easiest seems to be the following day, but I think Commissioner Beret and Tamamoto have conflicts. The Monday prior is probably the neighborhood plan committee meeting.
We could change that. I
Yeah,
think.
bump it up.
Yeah, we could probably bump it up.
There's no more survey.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay, I would not be here though.
Yeah, Mondays are better.
But that's okay, yeah.
I think your Mondays are better.
The 19th?
Works for me.
It's okay.
Is that what we're doing?
Okay, so the next meeting of the NCO will be on Monday, May 19th, which is the week before when we normally meet. And take it the neighborhood plan committee.
We'll meet the 12th then?
I won't be here for the 12th.
Pardon?
I won't be here for the 12th. But it's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
I'll just catch up on notes.
Okay, so so the NCO meeting will be on Monday, May 19th, because of the Memorial Day holiday on the 26th. The neighborhood plan committee will bump it up to the 12th. So that should go into our minutes and we can see that as the next meetings. So with that, we're going to be adjourning this portion of the meeting, and the commission will then go into its adjudicatory matters, which will follow this sunshine law portion of the meeting. So we're going to adjourn this meeting. Meeting is adjourned.